You grew up here?
Yeah,
When, when did you come here?
1976,
Okay. From?
Belarus.
Belarus.
From Belarus, okay. I'm curious about when you first got here, were there a lot of Soviet people here, or it was still?
No, it was just in the status of immigration. The first immigration started coming out in 1970, 71, 72, and then the following people, that's when they started letting the people out.
Okay.
Why is it that former Soviet people picked Brighton? Do you know?
Well, I guess it wasn't picked by just the people from former Soviet Union. It was picked by people from Odessa, Ukraine, because they used to live by the sea, and so that's why they called it Brighton, Odessa by the sea.
You moved here with your parents?
Yes,
you were
of course.
little?
Yeah, I was 14 years old when I came here.
Okay. And did they come?
С Новым годом, Мишенька. Я потом зайду.
Did they come here because they had friends, or what did they come here for?
Majority of the people came into this country because Russia violated the religious freedom, anti-Semitism. First of the people that start coming out here because of the religion reasons, and they were trying to escape the iron fist of former Soviet Union communists.
What about your family?
My family, it's a different situation. We came here because my grandmother had a sister and brother that was Americans. They were born here. So she came reunited to United States to reunite with her family, and we came alone, my family.
Do you work, in this neighborhood?
I'm a businessman.
Okay. So in not just Brighton Beach, it's
Well, here where you're sitting,
yeah.
a little piece of the action, and someplace else.
Okay. So this is part of your business. It's not just your favorite restaurant or something.
No.
Okay.
Some of the other people we've talked to today kind of describe Brighton as like a mini Soviet Union with a lot of people from
Well,
different areas.
I would disagree with that for a number of reasons. You have about 30 or 40 different nationality, ethnic groups that's living in Brighton because of a lack of knowledge of English. And it's easier to communicate. So you have majority of stores, businesses, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that. You have over 2 million people of Russian population living in the United States. A majority of it is in New York. But we won't consider I have kids that were born here, grandkids that were born here. They're Americans, but they're still with a Russian heritage.
Right.
And they live all over the place. But people that live here, to my knowledge, for a reason that it's easier to adapt to a new way of life in the United States.
That's what you're saying. Do you ever go back to
No,
Belarus?
I haven't.
No, never. Okay.
Never went back to Russia. Never went back to the former Soviet Union.
No interest.
No interest because I'm an American with a Russian roots.
Okay.
Did you go to before you were 14 when you were growing up? Did you travel around the Soviet Union? See
Well,
other
I had a few trips there and here. I went to a few major cities, but it's not the excitement that I should talk about it because it really wasn't exciting in those days. I was too young to understand what's going on, and then I realized that I would experience much more interested parts of the world when I come to this country. And like I said earlier, I visited like half of the world. I've been all over the islands, all over Europe, Far East, Far West, and you name it. As a tourist, of course. When you get adjusted into a way of life and you get to like a certain lifestyle, you realize for yourself, what's better for you. Live in a megapolis or live in some outskirts of Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? I traveled throughout the United States. I've been East Coast, West Coast, like I mentioned earlier. I've been through a lot of major cities and small towns, and it's not exciting. It's a different life. New York, it's a capital of the world. So you got like 130 different nationalities, ethnic groups, diaspora, you name it. What you can find in New York, you won't be able to find anywhere throughout the United States.
What did your father do when you guys first moved?
My father was a businessman.
Oh. So it runs in the family.
I'm sorry?
It runs in the family.
Well, my majority of my family, I have four brothers and one sister, and my youngest brother is an American. He was born here. He's 42 years old. He works for the government. My sister works as a manager for one of the commercial banks, and she retired already. And my other brother lives out in Florida, who also has his own little business. The Oceana used to be Brighton Beach Bats. Used to be a place for people to get away, to have a private membership in front of the beach. They had their own swimming pool. They have their own baths in there. It was kind of exciting, but once people got older, they lost their interest. And with the majority of people coming out to the United States from former Soviet Union, need a place to live, so they figure it out. The developer I'm talking about figured it out that why not build something nice and make money out of it, make it become profitable instead of just let it sit there in wasteland. Because people weren't buying memberships anymore. Membership was like $2,000, I remember, and it was a bit expensive just for a short 2 months. The rest of the time it just would close. So developer, with the help of local congressmen, assembly people, senators, got into the right direction, and they passed it through, and they built a little mini city called Oceana by the beach.
Is there a banya?
Is Banya?
Yeah.
There are plenty of banyas in Brooklyn, yes.
Okay, but in Brighton, is there one?
No.
Okay.
There used to be one on West 6th Street in Shell Road, but it just lasted for a couple of years, and then they just closed it down. They tear it down, and now it's an office building coming up. There is one on Neck Road. There was one in Seagate. There was one on Coney Island Avenue and Avenue C. That's about it.
Is it a place that you go? Like,
I don't go to the bad
Okay.
houses, no. It's not my cup of tea. Like I said, I'm more American than Russian.
Any good story you want to tell us before we let
Well,
you go?
I don't want to get into the specifics. I don't know what you have in mind. I mean, the good story to me, it's one thing. The good story to you and your listeners, it's something else. I mean, I'm not gonna go into the specifics about the criminal life in the neighborhood, but you can look around. I mean, you can ask questions. Some people like to talk. I mean, especially for you, you speak Russian. Don't say nothing in English. Just approach people and tell them, we work for the radio station. We like to get an interview. Whatever you don't want to say, you don't have to say. Just say what you feel. We're going to ask you a few questions, and that's it. And if they respond to you in Russian and English, then you got the right person. People that willing to give out information that doesn't concern them, they shouldn't talk about it. You can only say things that things that you experience yourself, and if you want to go in further, you have to find someone else. The best time for that is like spring and summer. We have a lot of people over here. A lot of them have nothing to do. There's an old-timers living that also been living here for 40, 50 years, and they capable of communicating perfectly in both languages, and you can give it a shot. I mean, if you're here just randomly and you're not coming back in a while, then I don't know what to tell you.